looking back out this way, but lots of gunfire, and it's sometimes hard to discern whether or not it's hairspray canisters popping inside that beauty supply shop or if it's gunfire. So we were listening to both sides, and I think we're okay here. I think we can stop here, guys. But we were listening to it go off, but we also saw very quickly that the police started moving out, so we started moving out. That's generally a good barometer when they start moving really fast, that something is happening here. So we're back up at the top of West Florissant. We're at the top of West Florissant, right at Ferguson Avenue. So this is by the McDonald's. And that means if you look down this way, you can't see it because of the smoke from this beauty supply shop. Canfield is down that way. It's down the other way here from where Mike Brown died. So, but this beauty supply shop, the fire department was here. They were in there, they were trying to break in, and all of a sudden we heard them yell, "Get out of here." The fire trucks left, but there's still 2 other fires down there. It's still burning pretty badly right now here on the street. It's otherwise quiet. It looks like pretty much on this side of it, it looks...
Reporting tonight, and as I was discussing just minutes ago with my colleague Chris Hayes, the images you see here don't begin to convey an entire picture in St. Louis or around the country where we've seen protests, including here in New York City. Hundreds of thousands of people, even millions of people, looking at these events, talking with their families, watching, sometimes with sadness or silent.
Elam is also over here. What we're seeing is a number of SWAT team armored vehicles starting to move into the area because we've been hearing gunfire on this section of West Florissant. Now, you heard Stephanie talk about the building just down the street, still on fire, still burning. So sad, because earlier this afternoon, we were inside that building talking to some of the owners there, talking to them about trying to reach out to those
buildings. Here's more fire engines arriving, and they're certainly needed, as this is a complete cloud here, as this street is entirely going up in flames. We've seen earlier some looting of cell phone stores, a liquor store, and the McDonald's. People initially smashed.
See armored vehicles moving in, but the buildings, this one here, another one down the street, they're just being left to burn. Anderson?
Academics and teachers and reporters as well, all of whom have said that what we're witnessing here, however concerning in the streets, and however questionable in the grand jury announcement, one that will continue to be debated, that this result, Yamish, is not a surprise to the vast majority of people there on the ground. Is that your sense from your reporting?
That is my sense from my reporting. I actually just spoke to a man who said that, you know, it's so rare, he says, to see an officer indicted, and frankly, he said that to see an officer indicted for killing a black young man, he just didn't believe that it was going to happen. So that's what protesters I'm hearing, frankly. They're saying that not only do they not think that officers get indicted in general, they think that as youth of color are being killed, that officers are not being held accountable. That's their perspective.
And that, of course, is at odds with what Bob McCullough said today. I'm reading partly from his press conference here as the prosecutor, where he said no one is being killed with impunity here, and he said we've had young white men killed in tragic situations as well. It was an interesting comment there, because it's not exactly the kind of defense you really would ideally want to offer, and yet it was his way of saying that to the extent this is a problem, it's a problem of occasional officer killings, not officer killings based on race. Your thoughts on that argument from the prosecutor tonight?
Well, I can say that USA Today has had an article out that's still on our website that says in the majority of times, or in a lot of cities, blacks are overwhelmingly arrested more in police and are shot more by police than other races. Now, that doesn't mean that there's a bias there. There could be a lot of different factors there, but I think the result of those statistics are that people really believe that black youth are racially profiled and that they're murdered. And that, of course, again, is their perspective, but they use the word murder, and they think that black men especially are targeted. So I understand that Robert McCullough is making that argument, but I think on the ground here, I've talked to dozens of people who really believe that black youth lives do not matter, and that this indictment was just a confirmation of that.
More provocative. We're being told that the group that we're seeing coming this way have looted places and broken windows and some of the businesses along South Florissant in that direction. But again, what you're looking at now, I mean, that is on your screen. That is the public storage, and that is just across the street on Canfield. Unfortunately, where Michael Brown lost his life, and Anderson, we did our live shots there. That's where we were live when you were here. All of those businesses along West Florissant.
Here. There's two sides of the stories, and it really should have been heard up by a jury, but we can't speak to that. What we can speak to...
They were. Both sides were heard.
But I'm talking about, I mean, there should have been an official jury trial. There's clearly there's different evidence, different stories, and it could have went to a real jury and have a real full-fledged trial on this. But that's neither here nor there tonight, Megan. I think tonight the mood here is heavy. And while there was an effort for peaceful protesting, clearly the anger has gotten out of control.
Richard, but the reason that the anger has gotten out of control, many would posit to you, is because these fires, so to speak, have been stoked by people who refuse to trust in the system, the grand jury system, which is the way our country works. And that grand jury met for 3 months, 1 time a week, 12 people in good faith, and they looked at all the evidence. 60 witnesses they listened to, and they disagreed with you. They know more than you do, and they said there's no probable cause for any of these charges. Who are you to second guess them?
Listen, Megan, I have to respect the rule of law here, but I got to tell you, it took 110 days for them to even come down with any type of decision. If this homicide were to happen in New York City, this would have went automatically to a real jury, a real trial. Clearly, this prosecutor made some huge blunders, and that's why the people tonight are angry, Megan.
No, you know what the lawyers say?
I mean, that's why people are angry, whether you agree or disagree with that. That's why the people are angry.
Perhaps it's because the people are being misinformed, Richard, because what the truth is, and Arthur Idala was just saying this to me, the truth is in 9 cases out of 10, the cop, there wouldn't have been even a grand jury proceeding. Where it's an officer-involved shooting, 9 times out of 10, the cop would not have been put through this, because 9 times out of 10, they believe the law enforcement officers and their testimonials. But in this case, it went to another level. They got another level of review.
I hear that, but the reason why I got to that point is because of the same frustration that happened on the ground. People demanded that there be a grand jury hearing here. At the end of the day, as you know, as well as I do as an attorney, that a prosecutor can can get charges for a ham sandwich. That's what the saying goes to the grand jury.
Tonight, that prosecutor.
But I think that case can be proved beyond a reasonable doubt, Megan. I understand we disagree on this, but at the end of the day, there was a black man that he was unarmed, and he was shot and killed in the streets of Ferguson, and that is why the people tonight are angry all across this country. It's not just me. It's millions of people across this country.
But Richard, you are ignoring the fact that what the prosecutor told us tonight.
We were here during the summer. You know, we saw particularly